let me tuck over just a little bit more. Hey-o! Here we are, Innovation Insights. Welcome back, everybody. I'm with.
Are you in there?
I am. I'm with the incomparable, always stunning, luxurious.
You can't even see my shoulder pads.
How are you? Shoulder pads? Can't even tell. Those are good shoulder pads if you can't tell. Unless you wanted them.
No, I want them. It's it's a whole thing.
Whoa, it is a whole thing. Look, I can lose my whole. Whoa, let go. Sorry. Is that a leopard? Leopard just stole my hand. What's up, y'all? Today we are continuing our exploration into Black and celebration of Black History Month and trying to highlight some of those stories that maybe not everybody has heard before. I'm going to go sit on Brené's lap a little bit more. Good? Oh, there we go. So we've talked with, last week we talked with Dwayne Nelson and his awesome project that he's working on to catalog and support Black inventors. And then the week before that, we discussed a little bit about some of the fashion aspects of the stories that maybe you haven't heard before. And if you have, not enough other people have. So that was awesome. Brené got to tap into her passion and expertise on that one and let it shine. And then the week before that, we just kind of kicked it off with an overview of what we were going to try and do. So this week, I want to talk a little bit about an organization that we recently, within the last half a year or so, became aware of and started working with, and that is Friends of the Movement Global. This is an organization in which the basic premise is trying to create Black Wall Streets in communities all over the country and around the world, and doing so in a very inclusive way and doing things in a very novel way. So from an innovation perspective, being able to do that through financial tech, social tech, trying to really provide the mechanisms for entire communities to thrive in partnership and collectively. And so we are so super psyched to be part of even the smallest part of such a noble and awesome endeavor that we thought it would be good to talk a little bit about the organization and what they were trying to do. Can't give too much away because it's still in quasi stealth mode, but the idea is that in later this year, I can say that, do an initial rollout of a pilot program in which we will be providing technology support to startups and small businesses, innovation support. And the basic idea is having a financial card, basically a debit card. Think about a debit card that any business owner or individual can utilize or promote more utilization for the goods and services that they provide. So part of the problem that we've seen a lot over time historically is the money that goes into communities or tends to go back out of those communities very rapidly instead of being able to develop and grow and create new opportunities within the communities that it's designed to support. And so by creating this network of organizations and people that believe in a shared purpose of equalizing opportunity, the money can stay local and can create new businesses, new opportunities, new ventures with the goal of transferring generational wealth to continue on. And doing so very deliberately with this notion of the travesty that occurred in Oklahoma, with the awful situation that again, we don't have to go sidebar here totally, but I don't know as if I could remember being taught about the destruction of Black Wall Street. Well, the existence of, let alone the destruction of, the violent destruction of Black Wall Street, when receiving my lessons in history as a young lad. And then a very large gap has occurred since I was that young lad to becoming aware of it more recently. And so, this is a way, an authentic way in which we don't have to relive that awful history negatively. We can honor it in its reality and use it to inspire 1,000 other Black Wall Streets around the country and around the world. And so that's a little overview of Friends of the Movement Global. And the first kind of public offering of that organization is around this idea of having a Black Wall Street friends and supporters card. So just to hammer home the idea, though, is we have a co-working space here in which we will automatically give a 20% discount to membership if they use their Friends of the Movement card, because we want to support the growth and development here locally. And you can choose to do kind of anything you want as a vendor, supplier, and it's just a natural and authentic way, an inclusive way to connect. Sorry, there's questions, comments
chat.
on the chat.
Will this be Ontario centered? Friends of the Movement, no, is not Ontario centered. Specifically, like, they're located on the East Coast, but the services that they will provide are going to be nationally offered. How much is membership here at Fourth Sector Ontario? Depends on what kind of membership you are looking for. If you're looking to be a kind of flex desk member, meaning you can use this space or any of the other spaces that no one else is occupying, that is $180. 180 per month. That gives
free
you
Friends of the Movement discount.
That gives you 24-hour access to the space. If you want a dedicated desk, a space to call your own with your own file cabinet, and you can decorate and do what you want to do in that specific designated area, that's $340.
That's right.
And we also have private offices. So it just kind of depends on what you're specifically looking for. If you are somebody that travels and you're not sure that you're going to be here for an entire month, you're only here 2 weeks out of the month or whatever, you can also do a punch pass, which makes you pay for the 1 month, but it turns that 1 month into $7 each visit. So if you needed to, spread it out, you're going out of town, you don't want to pay. If you're not going to be here, you can use it as a punch pass. So that's a quick overview of that.
Thank you, Renee.
You're welcome. And you're welcome.
And then the point about, is it going to be based here in Ontario? We are trying to coordinate specifics on making actually a technical center of excellence, an innovation lab with Friends of the Movement that would be based here in the region. And so that's still TBD at this point, but we are committed to doing that and trying to find the right way to do it. And the opportunity would be then all these different hubs of activity happening in Friends of the Movement Global around the country and around the world would fly in to Ontario International in this example, and then go through kind of boot camps, workshops, have residencies to support the furthering of the training and the capability development that we care so much about.
Excellent. I have two things that I want to say, but first, to answer your question, um, does that include like podcasting? Yeah. So our memberships give you the flexibility of utilizing the space. Um, with each membership, you get a certain amount of hours that is free time that you can reserve to use some of the conferencing space and the podcasting space. Um, but also, if there's no one here and it's not reserved, we're happy to help you. To have you utilize the space, and it definitely, you can record your podcast in there for sure. There's also a lot of dope places within the space to record. We've done music videos and events and all kinds of photo shoots and all kinds of stuff. um Sorry, I can't see that small. Can you see that small?
I can just see it.
Inland Empire used to be aerospace hub, and now it's moved out a lot. And training, so I don't break something. Oh yeah. And training on how to use these things in this podcast studio. Yeah, we'd love to help you with that. um Back to Friends of the Movement and Black Wall Street. The Oklahoma City massacre, unfortunately, is only one example. The creation of Central Park is another example of a thriving Black community that was destroyed. So I think this idea of, yeah, come on down. Kevin and I are here Tuesdays and Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Kevin's here Tuesdays and Thursdays. But you can also go to beyond.cowork.com. Yeah.
All one word.
Yeah. And that will set you up with a membership. You can online. You don't have to come in to sign up. You can actually pick that. So if you go to Beyond Cork, or you can actually click the link in our bio, and that will lead you to you find co-working Beyond, and there you go, boom. But I think that's, and to Kevin's point of
sorry, we're reading a new comment.
I'm gonna go ahead and read the comment before it goes away and we're not able to see, because we can't really scroll because we're so far away from it. Good morning. I visited the facility for SBDC loan workshop and was able to gather some flyers. Yeah, thank you so much for taking the flyers to spread out, elaborate on the logistics incubator. We can absolutely do that. Let's wrap up what we're talking about with Friends of the Movement. Is it a month-to-month membership? Yes, there's no long-term contracts. If you have a private office, we do require 30 days in notice for that. But if you're doing a dedicated desk or flex membership, then yeah, you can just not renew the next month if that's what you need to do. So if I can't afford membership 1 month, maybe I skip a month. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So we're here to kind of work with you and work for you. So like I said, you can also do the punch pass if you want to try it out. We also offer 2 weeks free if you want to see what the space is like. That does not include, the 2 weeks free does not give you 24-hour access or
the
a
punch
key,
pass doesn't either.
and neither does the punch pass. Yeah. So that means you'd have to be here during normal business hours. And for us, that's about 8 to 4:35-ish. We also have special needs coffee who's here in the morning. So if you want
all day
support, all day. Yeah. If you want to support a local nonprofit that is doing great work in the community, my hungry pays enough for, yes, love that. So Kevin will talk about the incubator, but you can also go to forwardthsi.com if you have more questions about the incubator. And you can also go to,
we can go to lots of places. forwardthsi.com, beyondcowork.com, instantaneous accelerator, instacell.com. We'll go through.
Yeah. So I think Friends of the Movement is a very important movement. If you have HBO Max, there's a documentary right now about Oklahoma City specifically, and the Oklahoma massacre and the Black Wall Street there, and how it was, a massive community, and now this Greenwood area is literally one like city block long. but you'll learn some great information. It's on HBO Max. It's uh, a really nice thing to watch. So if you want to hate it on some more of that, but again, there are several cities that were lakes were built on top of, and all kinds of different things happen to successful Black communities. And again, I was starting to say, to Kevin's point, these are things that you don't learn about in any kind of um, history, and it's historians and advocates that bring these stories to light and do the research, and then eventually get picked up by mainstream media. And we're starting to see this a lot more. So if you Google Black Wall Street or Black successful cities buried, there's like 50. So there's tons of stories like that, unfortunately. I have a friend that's educated me on Black experience in America. It's an interesting one, I can tell you. um, I just am a glass half full type of person, but it's not easy.
I just want to also, I think it's important with Friends of the Movement Global is they're not just, so they're not hijacking the Black Wall Street name. They're actively working with the existing Greenwood Chamber of Commerce, and have a partnership with them. So, a lot of times when something does become popular, people just latch onto it and go without any kind of real coordination or relationship to that original thing. And I just want to make it clear that Charles and the team at Friends of the Movement Global are dynamically and actively working with the Chamber of Commerce at Greenwood. So it's not just some scab operation. This is legit. So should we answer some of the other questions? So anyway, just Charles, keep leading. Love what you're doing. Thank you so much for letting us be even a fraction of a part of it. And we are Friends of the Movement. So thank you. The question earlier was about the types of programs that we have to support entrepreneurs here in Ontario, specifically a focus on commerce and logistics. And even more specific than that, we're really trying to support commerce and logistics tech development. And one of the reasons why we're focused on tech is that the industry as a whole is woefully behind on technology adoption. At one point during the pandemic, they said, and it was about 18 months into the pandemic, they said, as much progress had been made in that 18 months of technology adoption in supply chain type operations as they expected to achieve in 7 years. So it is happening, and it is happening rapidly. The other aspect is that the region itself, Ontario specifically, has 110 million square feet of warehouse, distribution, and light manufacturing space. There is a limit to the amount of growth that can happen in those types of facilities. A city is only so big. And so you can only put these giant facilities in so much of that city. And so we need to find a way to solve the challenges and the problems that that the industry faces together. And technology can be one of those really important tools to be able to do that. And so that's primarily why here in Ontario, we are focused almost exclusively on commerce and logistics tech. Now, if you have other ideas for a startup or a business, we're here to help you as well, just not to the same degree as the formal programs that we offer in commerce and logistics. In other communities, in other formats, we have other verticals. Commerce and logistics tech is considered a vertical, an industry vertical. We have other verticals that we support in other places. But here in Ontario, the one that's primary for this region is really commerce and logistics tech support. Let's see, I'm trying to read those comments.
That's okay. Can you let them know the difference between the incubator and accelerator
Sure,
programs and times? And
absolutely. I'll do it real quick. So both of our programs are focused on early stage venturing, which means it could be anything from an idea all the way up to you have an existing business model that is operating, but you want to figure out how big this business can be. So that really what early stage means is it's very young in its maturity as an offering. Again, whether that's a product or service or what have you. So both the programs are focused on that. Now, the difference between the two programs is that the incubator is for the earliest of early stage activities in which we want you to develop the confidence as the entrepreneur to move faster, change direction, or hang it up. And we want you to do that within the short period of time of the program, which is about 6 months, so that you know that this is something you want to spend the next 5 to 7 years doing, and that there's real stakeholders, customers, users that need this thing that you're trying to put out into the world, so that you don't dump your life savings into some new business and learn 2 years from now that, oh, you know what, the baseline assumptions of that business were not there. And we want you to learn, test those critical assumptions, those most important assumptions as early as possible. Um, then we have this big giant firewall that separates the incubator and the accelerator. And that firewall is what we call economic oxygen. And that means that you have real sales, revenue. At a minimum, you have letters of commitment, letters of intent from customers. Because what we're trying to do in the accelerator program is take the idea that you've already validated through this economic oxygen and figuring out how much scalability does that venture have, which is critical when you're trying to go into VC or angel investment pools to fund the growth of your company. They need to see that scalable or exponential growth to get excited about it. So that's the difference between us. So we want you to our two programs is early stage. Oh, sorry.
no,
What's that?
no, I'm saying between us. That's the difference between us. No, go ahead.
Um, early stage, and then the accelerate. How much scalability is there, and what is the right path for you as an organization to achieve the scale that your opportunity can provide? It's not going to be that every single company out there or every founding team out there has to go a more traditional angel to VC um, or any particular path. It has to be what is right for you and the goals and what you're trying to achieve.
Sweet.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah, if you have more questions, one of the questions was, so are we collaborating with Friends of the Movement? That was an earlier question.
Yeah, we absolutely are collaborating with Friends of the Movement on multiple levels. At the most basic level is that we are going to be a Friends of the Movement vendor, in which if people pay for their co-working subscription, for example, using the Black Wall Street card, then they will get an automatic discount for that membership. Then the other thing, as we had talked about, is we want to be a center of excellence for Friends of the Movement Global to develop new technologies, to do training and workshops, and further this capability back in the home communities in which participants are attending. And then working with supporting the core leadership team on innovation and diversity and inclusion as part of the core offering of the business. So those are some of the ways in which we are actively partnering and supporting with Friends of the Movement Global.
There's a lot of questions, and we actually have to hop off soon because we have our accelerator program. So the instacell.com is actually that's our
that's the accelerator.
That's the accelerator. Sorry. So you want to go to interfaceincubator.com, right?
Yeah, Interphase Incubator, all one word.com. We have rolling applications for both programs, which means every time we get a certain number of to fill up the cohort, then we kick off the next one. So then that number is typically 12 is what we cap out we need a minimum of 4 to get rolling, and then we have a maximum of 12 that we want to have in each cohort. So we have rolling waves of engagement through those programs. And the accelerator is 3 months. We talked about the length of the incubator, but the accelerator is 3 months, just to wrap that up.
So, Coach Cobb, it is InstaCell is the accelerator. So that's for the companies that have those letters of intent. They have economic oxygen. But if you are before that, then that's going to be, then you want to go to interphaseincubator.com. Accelerator for tech and incubator for any idea?
No, they're both focused on commerce they're both focused on, I'll say it a different way. Ideally, if you're going to go into this path and create a scalable technology offering, then there's expectations of what it takes, the measures that are required for people to get excited to invest in that company. So that is our bias going in, is that we're trying to create these high tech jobs here locally. And so tech across the board is something we emphasize, but it's not necessarily a requirement. So if you get in and find through the program that there's a low tech solution to solve a major pain point, then that's a win from our perspective. It may not be a scalable tech business at that point, but it's still an ability to create amazing jobs and opportunities here locally and solve problems here locally. But both the incubator and the accelerator, operated here in Ontario, are focused on commerce and logistics tech development. If you have ideas outside of that space, and let me just state why. One, because of the reasons that we said earlier, but two, it's really difficult to build the networks if you're of investors and mentors and supporters if you're all over the place all the time. And so by having a vertical of focus that is relevant to the region that we're in, then we are able to provide a more consistent offering to the people further down the process. Because remember, we're super early stage and there's a lot of resources and investment that happen later on. We're trying to get you ready, build that solid foundation to progress.
So Coach Cobb, my recommendation would be go to the site, go ahead and fill out the application and let us decide, let us review that and figure out if our program is something that we recommend for you, or there are other programs in the region that we can also recommend you to. So yeah, go ahead and send us over your info so we can try to hook you up with us or someone else.
And if there's not a good fit for us, we will try and find you with the right resource, like Brene was saying. And if you know out of the gate that it's not good for commerce and logistics tech, there may be other verticals that we support in other places in which it does fit. So all good.
Yes, you can just walk in. I would recommend that you give us a heads up, because our schedules are kind of all over the place. Kevin also teaches at Claremont McKenna College. I'm only part-time, so you can definitely walk in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thursdays probably being a better day because our Tuesdays are packed. But you can also message us. You can also email me at Brene, which is B as in boy, RENEE, at 4thsi.com, and we can get you on the books, or, that would be my recommendation.
Sounds great. Thanks for asking. All right, y'all, we got to jump off. Looks like Chris just jumped on and we're about to jump off, man.
Hi, Chris.
Is it tonight or is it next week?
Next week.
Next week. So we'll give Chris a plug.
Tuesday.
The last Tuesday of every month is Techo Tuesday. The next one will be in Riverside.
Oh, wait, no. It is today.
Tonight.
It is tonight. Tonight's
See?
the 22nd because I can't make it because it's Sanaya's birthday. Yes, Excite in Riverside. Techo Tuesday is going up.
Okay. So it is tonight. And go check that out. Techo Tuesday is an awesome passion and commitment from Chris Hernandez, who is on there, and it's all for the love of it that he's doing it. He wants to make a difference. So get on out to Riverside tonight at Excite.
Yes.
Register in advance, and yeah, we got to roll. Got to transition over to our cohort. The Instantaneous Accelerator cohort meets every week here, and yeah, we thank you all. We really appreciate your interest in Friends of the Movement Global and all the topics that we were able to explore this month. This isn't like the only time that we're going to be talking about these things, but this is a great time to highlight some of them and look at it in a slightly more holistic way. So with that, we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.